let's just get into this a bit, Ben. I found you from your Loom content essentially, because my plan was like, hey, I want to dominate like the Loom YouTube space. Let's see who else is in there. And I found you, and I liked your video. Um, do you want to give me a bit of a rundown about like your journey with Loom Outbound? Like, how did it start, and like where has it sort of evolved to?
Yeah, man. So I remember years ago, the first time I did Loom was when I was working as an agency. Sorry, for an agency when I was basically just freelancing, helping them with their lead generation. So I would get like a base salary, a small base salary, and then they would pay me commission on any deals that I had to generate the lead and then close the deal as well. So I was like, shit, like what do I do for cold outreach? And we were still running like instantly campaigns, and we did a bit of LinkedIn, and we used to do like DMs on Instagram and stuff like that. This agency used to reach out to like fashion brands and like e-commerce brands, people selling products. And I remember seeing some videos on like how to, do Loom videos, but this was before any sort of before there was any sort of platforms like Replic or what's the one that you use? Pitch lane or anything like that. So basically, we just had to go and do it manually. And I remember, obviously, this was a fair few years ago when the looms were not smooth at all, and
Yeah.
there was definitely a lot of trial and error. And I remember we had a VA, and um, what I would do is I would basically record the first snippet of the loom. So I would record like the first like 10, 15 seconds to make it personalized to them. And then I would basically snip that into like an evergreen like ending of the video for the end of the 2 minutes. And that worked pretty well. Like it got some good meetings and stuff in there, but it wasn't that great for the amount of hours and effort that we put in. And I just found that just doing manual looms, just literally recording a 5-minute loom, spending that time, make it personalized, and then just sending it to them was way more worth it. You get such a bigger ROI just doing that rather than trying to
Yeah.
snip it them together. And then like Replic and other tools like Pitch Lane came on the scene, which is what you guys obviously use as well, where you can
Mm.
sort of customize it. And now I'm using another one called Sender. So yeah, that sort of streamlines things. But through and through, if you've got time to go and record a 5-minute loom and you actually you go, right, I really want to work with this person. I really want to reach out to them. Just recording a normal loom video, just it crushes. Like it doesn't really take that long once you've done it so many times and you're just relaxed about it. You've got a nice aura about like actually reaching out and you're not trying to like hard sell and hard pitch someone. It works really well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny that you talk about like snipping them together. I mean, straight just copied what Charlie Morgan said, which was like, we just recorded the audio and then we had a VA play the audio and record the Loom video and scroll on the website, and then we just turn the camera off. So the camera would just be like a photo with the audio playing out of their phone, I assume. And then we just play it and then chuck it into a Google Sheet. And those were the looms, and they were fine. We were still getting like a 6% book call rate off those looms. I was just like, it was kind of crazy. Um, when you talk about like, I know in a lot of my content, I'm like, the main thing's the tone of the video. Like, we're sitting here, we've probably spent a decent amount of time in front of camera now, like doing this. So when we make a Loom video, it's very much like, hey, sorry, I know this is a bit weird, like da da da, da. And it's very like level, genuine feeling. How heavy do you place weight on like what you're saying as opposed to like how you're saying it? Because I'm probably in the camp of like the goal of the video is to build trust and rapport, like, and so how you're saying it's the most important thing. Whereas I know some other people in this space, rightly or wrongly, are more like you're trying to qualify, disqualify people, and you're trying to have it like a compelling offer and everything like that. Where do you kind of sit on that spectrum?
I'm more so sitting on the spectrum of all the video is there for is to build trust. So you're just not in that bucket of people where someone's just sending like a cold DM or a cold like LinkedIn message or a cold email. Like all it is, it doesn't really matter what you say. Like I know your approach is very much like pretty much just have a few sentences in there, and it's kind of just like building that trust. Whereas I'm a bit more like you've got to show proof and things like that. But
Mm,
my big philosophy around it is obviously building trust and actually adding a bit of humor. Humor goes
mm,
such a long way, man. Like if you can mention something just to make sure that they know you're not just a robot and you're not just like glued to your laptop, like, oh God, I've got to record this because I need this meeting. It's like, mate, just relax. Like people can smell the desperation that what like either if you're on a sales call or if you walk into like a car showroom and someone's like trying to like sprint over to you, like if you're giving that vibe and, and you're giving that aura and it looks like you need the meeting otherwise you're going to die, then that'll just turn people off. So I'm just in the camp of like send it, make sure they can trust you, and humor and trust sort of go hand in hand, because
mm.
if you can make someone laugh and sort of break the ice, they're more willing to like open up to you. So I always try and mention something, and I'm not a comedic genius or anything like that, but it's just something to sort of break the ice. Yeah.
What what's your like if you're making like, okay, let's say you're sitting down and making 20 of them, how do you make them funny? Like what are you doing? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the classic one, if you can't think of anything, which is I know you said that you do it a lot, which is basically just saying like, "Sorry, I know this is pretty strange. Don't worry, I'm not a weirdo. Just like sending you this." Or
Yeah.
you might say something like, so, not to be creepy, but I'm sending you this message here. But
Yeah.
another good one is just to actually like do spend a bit of time. So you can only really do this if you're doing it personalized or like what niche you're going after. But if you're doing the personalized videos where you're just spending like 5 minutes per person, you can just have a look on their LinkedIn profile and you can have a look on their like website or something and try and mention something. So I think on my
Mm,
YouTube video, I did an example where I basically booked a call with a physio, well, an physiotherapist, and my back was actually hurting that day. I think I mentioned on the video, I was like, "Hey Phil, nice to meet you. I noticed that you're a physio, and that's interesting because my back's been absolutely killing this week. Because I've been sat in this chair all week doing work, and then it kind of just like humanizes myself. So
mm.
little things like that work, but yeah, you're not going to be sat there like sort of cracking jokes. Like it needs to be.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's also like a realization that decision makers, or let's just call them business owners, depending on who you're reaching out to, like they want to connect with other business owners and they want to grow their business like actively, but they don't want to get pitched and they have their time wasted for stuff that's not genuine. So it's like coming across as genuine was just going to lead to very like good conversations, in my opinion. And like that's kind of what we're seeing across the board, which is like we can give the same script to two clients and one of them
Yep.
will crush it because they genuinely convey that they have something of value for the prospect. Like what you're trying to do is be like, you believe you have an opportunity for them and you have to convey that to them, right? And like, one, if you don't believe you have an opportunity for them, it's not going to work and you shouldn't be reaching out to people saying that you can help them. Okay, so we're just assuming that you do have something that you believe will help people. And then when you make this video, you have to just, you're trying to build this connection and convince them. Like, right? And it's as simple as that. And so like we'll have another client who like super excited, genuine, makes the video super personable and it crushes. Um, we when we're doing these, like you call them like personal, just for anyone who's wondering, there's kind of two strategies that people use at the moment. One is where you make a video that you can either use AI variables, or I don't think it's quite there yet in that making sense. Or you just use a script which is vague or broad. So instead of saying like, "Hey Ben," I would say like, "Hey there," like I know this is a bit strange, and then you make one video and then that gets overlaid on all the prospects' websites, and we can kind of call that. I call it like Loom style outreach. It's not Loom outreach because you're not really using Loom, and it's not actually made one to one. Then there's another style of Loom outreach, which is this manual Loom outreach, where you do some research and make an actual personal video for each prospect. And there's two ways that you can do this style of outreach. One is that you can literally email, you can pick like 500 people and go and email them a Loom. Or what we do is we have an email campaign that says like, "Hey, Ben, I, I have something of value for you. I've made you a quick video. Do you mind if I send it over? And then once they say yes, then we send over the video, because we've just found that the Loom view rate on people that have already asked for a video is way higher than just sending it out. But how do you do that, Ben? Do you just like have a Dream 100 style list where you just identify people that you want to go after and then you send it to them on multiple platforms? Or are you asking if they want a video first and then are you sending them a video?
Yeah. I mean, man, I've tried everything. I've tried both. I've tried just sending it up front on multiple different platforms. There's no exact science, to be honest. I think, just in my opinion, if you've got that sort of hit 100, your dream 100 list, you should basically just send that regardless, like straight away. Like if you've already done the work, just get it out there and then follow up
Mm.
with them. Because if they're your dream 100 list, why would you send an email to them basically saying, hey, do you want to see this? Because I've got a really good idea, an opportunity for you. You want them to see it anyway. So if they're your dream 100 list, you want to actually work with them. You've got some, like you were saying, an actual valid idea that you believe in, then you should record it and send it to them. But if you want to sort of be tactical and be a bit more efficient with your time, then I think it's a good strategy. If you're going to do volume, then ask
Mm.
them if they want to see the video to begin with. But I don't know what your thoughts are on like, what do you find is going to give you the best results? Like, are you basically just recording the pre-recorded Loom video and then basically uploading it to a campaign? Or are you starting with that first message where it's like, hey, do you want to see a video?
Yeah, I think so. Typically, we do some testing. Like we'll set up a campaign that's both pre-recorded and asking if they want a video. Why? Because you still have to put the effort into making these videos each time. And like a lot of the clients or companies that we work with, they're used to inbound lead flow, or at least lead flow that they don't have to do so much like lead nurturing on the front end. E.g., they don't want to be making like 15 looms a day. But like if someone came to me and was like, hey, I really want to, grow, I would say like set up your email infrastructure and send out like the maximum amount you can, 100,000 emails a month. Let's say you've got a total addressable market of like 300,000 and you're like, I really want to grow as fast as I can. I'd be like, okay, split that in, like scrape the whole list, verify the whole list. You're going to send out 300,000 every 3 months. So 100,000 a month. And you're going to ask, you're going to have something compelling. Hey, we're working with a similar company in Chicago and we're getting them great results through doing LinkedIn outreach to connect them with moving companies, which results in referral opportunities. I think the same approach could work for you, Ben. And I've made you a quick video. Do you mind if I send it over? And then you want to set it up so you're making like 30 looms a day to people that have already said yes. Because you're going to book in a ton of meetings, and those meetings are going to be with people that already like have seen your face, heard your voice. But what people do is they mess up two parts of it. One's the scale. They're like, oh, I'll make 2 Loom videos a day. And then like, a third of them will result in calls. And so you'll have like 3 calls a week. It's like, if you're serious, like you want 30 calls a week. And then from there, you're going to start to build momentum and in all aspects. Like you're going to get way better making the videos. One, you're going to get better at refining what email copy works too. You're going to be getting better at doing that initial discovery call. You're going to record your discovery calls. You can run them through AI. You can see the common objections. You can put those back into your Loom videos that you make. Be like, hey, da da da. So one of the main objections that other companies run into when they do this is, and then you already can pre-tackle them. Then you have your demo calls. Again, you can watch your demo calls, see which parts of the presentation they get like, bored, eyes glaze over, confused, and you can start refining this until there's like a clear arbitrage opportunity where you're like, I'm spending $10,000 a month on this outreach, and that's making me X amount of money, which is way more than 10,000. That would be like my advice, but people don't do that, so it's fine. I know why they don't do it, because it's like scary and they haven't done it before and they don't want to make all these videos and all that thing. So typically, what we do is we do they shoot the video once per niche or per industry. So if you've got like we've got an M&A client, they're reaching out to, let's say, different types of home service businesses, plumbing, HVAC, roofing. They'll make a plumbing video. that gets overlaid over all the plumbing leads. They'll make an HVAC video, gets overlaid all the HVAC leads. And we still get heaps and heaps of positive feedback, which is like, oh my God, thank you so much for making this video. Like, you guys, I haven't seen this before. This is crazy. Which is cool. And if you reach out to like, more tech savvy people, they know what's going on, but they still appreciate that you're making some sort of effort above and beyond. Like, so it's not as good as the personal touch, like the actual personalized from the standpoint of building a genuine connection. Because if someone like looks at it closely, like they can figure out like, you know, yeah.
All I sort of categorize it as is it's just like the law of reciprocity. So if you're putting in a bit of effort aside from just sending like a cold email with plain text, which has been done by ChatGPT, and it's just awful. If you send them something of value, which the value might just be like showing that you're actually putting in a bit of effort. Like we launched a campaign last week or the week before, and we were reaching out to techie guys, so people who had startup companies, and they were quite large as well, so sort of medium to large companies. And I think I kind of knew that they probably already knew what was going on when we were recording like mass Loom videos like you do. And he just replied, I had multiple replies saying like, I really don't normally reply to cold emails, but something tells me that I should actually book a call with you guys. And we had another guy saying like, I really like your approach. And they just booked a call without even replying to the email, because you can put a button on there that just says like, hey, book a call. Because people like that. So they jump on the call and they already feel like, they know you because you've already put a bit of effort in. They've seen you talking for, a couple of minutes. So yeah, that sort of law of reciprocity, it's like why people create lead magnets, because why would you go out of your way to, go and create like a lead magnet or a free training or, something like that? It's because, the other person on the other end can be like, okay, one, I trust you more. And two, it's like, oh, well, next time, he actually offers something that's paid, maybe I'll give it some more attention because he's already given me some good free stuff in the lead magnet. So yeah, it's the same kind of thing.
Do you, let's say someone's responded positively to your Loom outreach, what is your typical next steps from there? Like, are you proposing times? Are you just booking them in? Like, how are you going about like getting sales calls scheduled?
Yeah. So it depends on what target audience you're going after. So if you're just reaching out to, say, tech founders, then by all means, you can try and send a Calendly link for them to go and book a call directly. However, I still to this day always try and avoid sending a Calendly link, because it's just another barrier for someone to go, oh God, I've got to like go and click on here. Then I've got to go and see on my calendar when I'm available. Like, when do I do this? You give people too many options. Like, people like to follow, they don't like to lead. So what I usually do, if someone says, yeah, that sounds good, like, sounds interesting, I don't even care. I'll just give them two options and just say, hey John, sounds good, how's Tuesday at 2 p.m. or Wednesday at 1 p.m. I don't care if I think that they're going to be available or not, but it just gives them an in, or it gives them an out for them to be like, oh, nah, none of those times work for me, but actually let me just suggest, because I know I'm free up Thursday at 2 p.m. and then they'll get back to you, and then you just book them in. Like, it's super simple. You want to make it as low friction as humanly possible, because these people don't owe you anything. Like, at the end of the day, if you're doing Loom outreach or any cold outreach, you're trying to pitch something to someone else. So you're trying to take not only their time if it's a sales call, but you're obviously trying to, make money from this, and, you're in business for a reason. So you just want to reduce the friction as much as possible. There are some circumstances where a Calendly link will work. Like, I remember, some guys who I've spoken to before, they've just said, yeah, flick me over your Calendly. And I just go, yeah, cool, here you go. We get a lot of responses as well for people who are a bit more techie. A lot of them have got their calendar link like in their email signature, and they just say, yeah, just feel free to book a time on there. We've had that's happened I think 3 times last week. But yeah, what do you do? What's your sort of process?
It depends, and we've tried everything. So I would say at a baseline, our most common practice is we'll propose times unless we classify the lead as a very positive reply, which is someone that not only has responded positively, but there's like positive sentiment with the email. Like, hey, thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate it. Da, da. And so what we'll do is we'll propose times, and then essentially our inbox, our lead nurturer at the end of the day is going to go in and say like, hey, Ben, just a note that my day's filling up, so I've booked us in for one of the time slots. Let me know. And then to send the calendar link and said like, you can use this if you need to reschedule to a better time. Because I want something in the calendar. If they've said yes, they're open to a call and the reply is positive, like I need something in the calendar at that point. So we kind of classify the replies as like, yes, we can propose times, or it's like a very positive reply. And I would say like 30%, 40% of like positive replies we classify as very positive, and that gets more call volume because like again, it's even lower friction. It's in their calendar now, and they respond to positive sentiment, so we don't get any like pushback on that. So I would say that's a trick for anyone out there that's trying to figure out like, hey, I'm getting positive replies, but I'm not booking any calls. Just go and book them. We also, on the other end of the spectrum, if we've got a client or a business which we're generating like a really high lead flow for, and they're now on the point where they want to improve call quality, which we all hate the term of because we all mean completely different things when we talk about call quality. If you want to improve show rate and people knowing that the call is happening and turning up to the call ready, this is the time of call quality I'm talking about, then we do send a calendar link for the purpose of disqualifying people, because people that aren't as serious will not book through the link. That doesn't, it's not like the bigger businesses with more money will book through the link and the poor businesses with less money won't book through the link. So when we talk about call quality, it's just like, how ready are they for the call? That's what we're disqualifying on. That's like the fallacy, which is like, oh, the bad businesses, if I send a calendar link, only the good businesses will book. It's like, no, you send a calendar link, only the poor businesses will book. So like, don't get it twisted. So we use it as a filter.
I saw someone post on LinkedIn and they were like, it's so rude that someone would just reach out to me and then just send me a Calendly link and then expect me to book a call. It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
For me personally, I'd way prefer it. I don't want the back and forth, but I just know the 99% of people would rather just like hash it out over a couple of emails and say like, hey, you give them 2 time slots available. But for me personally, I was laughing when I saw that LinkedIn post. You see some wild stuff on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I was just
None of it's real.
that's not even the icing on the cake. But yeah, I was just like, you know, is it really that dramatic? For people, someone replied in the comments, and I think he was like a head SDR at some sort of tech company, and he was like, I don't think you realize how much time it saves from you not having to, go back and forth with someone using like a Calendly link. Like it saves a lot of time, which I get it. Like, and people can reschedule, but if you're targeting like plumbers, they're not gonna use a Calendly link to go
No.
book it. No.
Yeah, 100%. It's like what with outbound, what you're defending against is life. Like, and what I mean by that is they don't know or trust you, or if they do, it's a very low level of trust. And what that means is like, if they stub their toe on the way to the meeting, like that's more important, and they have no obligation to let you know, right? Because they don't know you. Like, what? It's not important. So you're defending against everything that can happen in their life for this meeting to not move forward, because you're the lowest priority, because before you've had a conversation, you haven't had any opportunity to build trust or rapport. It's not like my brother's gone and said, hey, go and you have to talk to Ben like he's the man. And so I'll feel obligated to show up to that meeting. Right? That hasn't happened. There's no obligation. And so you're trying to remove this friction in heaps of ways. And like you said, like for maybe like blue collar jobs, sending a link's more friction because they don't want to click on suspicious links or whatever. And for like tech jobs, you do want to. Why? Because any friction, you've got so lower level of trust and rapport that you're not going to be able to get over that friction. And that's why sometimes you just book in the call. Now there's no friction, but you could, on the other end, face consequences of them not being available or piss them off or these other things. So it's like this balancing act, which is quite niche dependent and industry dependent. But one bit of advice I would say is start aggressive and then get less aggressive over time. Why? Because it's actually with all levels of outbound. Like, start with your best possible offer, and then lower how good the offer is if you've got way too many leads. Like, oh wow, you've got way too many leads. Like, yeah, come talk to me when you have like way too many leads.
Yeah.
It's not that's not going to be the issue. The issue is going to be the other way, and you're like, I've got 0 replies and no data to improve my situation. So like, be aggressive with the booking calls, be aggressive with your offer, be aggressive with how much volume you send, be like with all of it. Because if you dip your toe in the water, most likely scenario is you get no results and you get no data to improve your results. And you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, this doesn't work. This all sucks. It's a big scam. That's like the conclusion you come to half the time. Um,
I
I
I had a
You go.
question just to ask what you typically do. People overthink this. I get asked this a lot. So for example, on if you are sending Loom videos for your cold outreach strategy, you've got to title it something. And what do you title it as? So when it shows the GIF on email, because I know you guys do email. Like, what do you title that as?
Yeah, we title it as like question for first name.
Yeah.
What, which is not sophisticated, but like when we do like for subject lines, and I think I put a video out on YouTube recently about subject lines. Like, you'll think you've got the most amazing subject line, and you'll split test it against like question first name, and it'll lose, and you'll be like, "Fuck, I'm an idiot." But it's just like question first name. In my opinion, everyone reading it knows it's a sales email. Like, they're not an idiot. Like, they know what's happening, but at least they're reading it in a slightly neutral sense for the most part. If you say like free leads for some or like Facebook ads for $298, I feel like they're almost reading in a negative headspace, because if you make it any promise in your subject line and then under deliver on that promise in the email, you've just ruined it. Because how they're just gonna see me under deliver on every step of the way. So at least question first name is something like, this is like a cold outbound message, and I'm not telling you what it's about yet. That's kind of the headspace. But I haven't gone and thought about it too deep with the Loom videos. What have you found works? But good.
Yeah, I mean, through and through, obviously, I've tested loads and literally just keeping it as simple as possible, where it's the same kind of thing, but it would just be a quick video for you, John, or a quick video for John, just to basically add some curiosity. It's like, okay, well, this guy's just created a video and he's sending it me. Like, what a weirdo. Let me click on that.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I think with like the subject lines and stuff, you're right. Like, the more simple the subject line, the better, as long as you're not sounding like salesy. But if you are going to try and do different subject lines, I always try and make sure that the body of the email actually pays off the subject line. So what I mean by that is, like, if you click on a YouTube thumbnail and it's telling you like how to run Facebook ads, and then they start talking about SEO, like, they haven't paid it off.
Mm.
So it's the same with the subject line, because you've got to click on it, and if it doesn't hook you straight away, so if you are saying like quick question for whatever, or question for Ben, then you've actually got to have a question in there. Otherwise, they're going to be like, well, why have you just wasted my time? Like, you're just trying to pitch me
Mm.
instead.
Yeah, yeah,
So I always just try and pay it off, especially when you're speaking to, if you're doing like, we work with clients who are targeting a really sophisticated market, where they're like multi-million dollar, multinational global organizations. Like, these guys aren't receptive to quick question, because they're just a more
Mm.
established buyer. They're working in company sizes where they've got 1,000 employees. They ain't going to open that. So we have to think about, like, what would they seem curious to actually click on, that's so relatable for them, and it's so specific to that person's job role. It's hard for them
Mm.
not to, not to actually go and click on it. I know that sounds a bit wishy-washy, but um, yeah, like, just knowing exactly who the job title is and who it is that you're reaching out to definitely helps. And you know,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Are you, when you're doing these more complex, let's say buyers, are you trying to write subject lines which they would assume is like an internal email? Or are you trying to write subject lines where they know it's like a sales email, but it's something that they're interested in? Because those are the typical approaches.
Yeah.
Like you could say like, yeah, are you open on Monday? Let's say, if you assume that it's an email subject line that they get a lot, and so that they'll read it. But like when you trick somebody into opening an email, like, you just have to be wary of the headspace they're going to be in when they realize you're just trying to pitch them something.
Yeah.
Or the other way, where you're like, they know it's kind of an email where it's like a salesy email, but now they're entering it with this probably frame of like, this person's just going to pitch me. How do you go about that?
Yeah, I'm also it's a bit of a combination between the two, but I'm also swaying towards if the email looks as if your colleague has just sent you an email, or like, you know, your mate has just said like, "Hey, like Ben, look at this." So
Hmm.
what we do is just like you don't want to look salesy, but the guys, they know it's a sales email, like especially these guys in like the big corporate companies, for example, like they get pitched all the time, but these guys open their emails because they have to. It's their job.
Yeah.
They're in a 9 to 5. Like, whereas if you're reaching out to like small to medium sized business owners, they probably just don't even open it unless it's an email from their accountant saying like, you need to sign these this paperwork or this these documents.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you're right. Like if you're gonna like try and pull the wool over someone's eyes, and it's like you're just not gonna get a great reception unless you've got like a very good email. So I try and stay away from that.
Yeah.
But you know, you want to try and sound as human and as if, you know, I was just sending you a quick email, or like you know, someone next door or someone who's in your work office, just like a very quick, casual message.
And I think that's where the video really pays dividends, because like you can make, they can be in the wrong headspace or whatever when they read the email, but then they watch a video of Ben being funny, and it's just it's all fine, it's all forgiven because, oh, this guy is just genuine, like this is crack up, like fun, and then they go through it. So I just think like you can't, it gets very messy trying to convey complex ideas in 2 lines of text to somebody that you don't know. Like it,
Yeah.
you're gonna get it wrong most of the time. But when you then make a video and they're like, hear your tone, how you're speaking, the words you're using, you can convey far more complex ideas. You can come across as being genuine. You sound like them. You look like them. You're not trying to scam them. You've got a genuine opportunity. All these things. It's just so hard to do them over text, in my opinion. And that's like why we're like so deep down the video outreach kind of path.
Um,
I did want to ask you, I'm not deep in the LinkedIn game yet. It feels odd to me. I'm spending more time on LinkedIn, and I don't know if it's just my corner of LinkedIn, but I'm like, most of this is just like AI slop at the moment. Like,
Yeah.
I would say half the comments on my posts, I'm just like, hey, is this you or is this AI? And they don't reply, and I'm like, okay, well, this is obviously not you. Uh,
Yeah.
Talk to me about outbound and LinkedIn, and specifically how it like relates to video outbound, if it does at all.
Mm. Well, you're posting on LinkedIn, so you're in the 1% club where only 1% of users on LinkedIn post regularly on a weekly basis. So all of those comments that you're getting is just people plugging into like automation tools using AI to comment on your post, probably. And there's people, it's just flooded with a lot of crap at the moment where just people using, you know, AI to just generate posts and just pump it out, which no one engages with, by the way. So it's just like, it just tarnishes a reputation. So most people are just using LinkedIn for, you know, outreach or connecting with other business owners. All it is a B2B networking platform. It's the biggest one in the world. And the reason why I like it so much for outbound doing lead generation, it has got its limitations because you can only send like a certain, the amount of volume is so minimal compared to doing email, which is infinite. You can just keep buying email inboxes. But for LinkedIn, you're maxed out at like 200 connections a week. It always changes and it depends on what plan you're on. But yeah, it's around about that point. And the reason why it's so powerful though for outbound is because you can use a tool called LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and it's the only platform where literally someone has their job title, their location, where they work, um, their seniority level, so how senior they are. Obviously, if you're doing any outbound, you want to reach out to people who can buy your stuff and make decisions. Um, you know, there's so many like filterings that you can do on the platform, like that are directly native in the platform, that it makes outreach very easy. Um, and you know, you can include certain job titles, exclude certain job titles. You can target people who have recently posted, like you, on LinkedIn. So people are probably going to be reaching out to you soon.
Yeah, I saw your recent LinkedIn post. I'm like, yeah, cool, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We can go down that AI sort of personalization rabbit hole. But yeah, no, I like it though, because basically if you connect with someone, um, someone can basically make a very quick judgment call by just clicking onto your profile. And if you look somewhat legit, you've got a profile picture, and you're not just looking like a ghost, and you've got your company page attached, and it's like, oh, okay, well, Ben does lead generation for companies. I actually need help with lead generation. Cool. Let me check his page out. Take you 30 seconds and you can go over. So instead of you having to leave the platform and maybe go and like either book a call with me from a cold email, or like go onto my website, go check it out, and then you get lost in the source, you can basically just quickly go, okay, well, if this guy looks legit, yeah, it looks legit, yeah, I'm going to respond. And it's a lot
Mm,
more casual as well than email, where someone can just flick out their phone and you've got a notification. It's almost just like texting your mate, or like texting someone on
mm,
WhatsApp, or text. So it's pretty casual, but like I said, it's got its limitations. You can only send a certain amount of LinkedIn connection requests, otherwise you'll get spam blocks by LinkedIn. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I would say that's just the main
mm.
downside, is the volume.
And do you use LinkedIn, let's say outreach with like Loom video outreach? Like, do you send Looms via LinkedIn? Is that part of the strategy?
Yeah, for me personally, I don't do that anymore, but I used to do it a lot, because and it is perfect as well on. So if you record a manual Loom video, for example, and you copy the link and then you send it to someone, the GIF will still show up, so you can see like my face
Mm,
smiling in the corner, and then again it just piques that curiosity, and it's like quick question, and then I'm cracking jokes, and then it's impossible not to not to book a call.
yeah, yeah.
Joking. I don't always crack jokes, but yeah. So it still works with the Loom strategy. You can actually do that automated as well. So you would it's the same process. You would
Mm,
basically record your evergreen Loom video, and you can have it going over the LinkedIn profile or the website going in the background, and then you would render all the videos. So let's say you had 100 just stock standard videos, and then what you would have to do to automate all that, unless you've got a VA, you would plug it into a tool like Prosp, and then you would have your lead list, and then you would basically you would have the custom variable would be the personalization, which would be that Loom video, and you would just send it out to all of them. So it's a bit of a
mm,
process to get that nailed down. That's if you really want to go down that strategy, like actually
mm,
use LinkedIn to go and do it. But with LinkedIn, you can send like voice notes and things like that as well. There's loads of other things that you can do. You can send like GIFs and things like that. It's a bit more casual. Um,
mm.
so yeah, there's a lot of things you can do. Sorry, someone was calling me.
No worries, man. And why did you stop doing that strategy for you?
Um, Good question. I just see good results just from doing just plain text.
Mm,
And maybe some voice notes in there, because if you're using automation tools as well, you can like send automated voice notes. So just like you were saying, you don't have to explain your business to the nth degree. You're basically just showing that you're a real human. You're sending them a voice note. But generally, because it's more of a text-based platform anyway, like they try to introduce the TikTok style videos on LinkedIn, and they basically wiped it. It's more of a
yeah.
text-based platform anyway. Text works really well, just sending people messages back and forth.
Mm, okay, cool. Yeah, I always liked like voice notes. I feel like it is. I don't know about you. It depends on which like friend group you're in. Like in some friend groups, they always just send voice notes. I'm running late. Like I'm trying to get to the office, but there was a whatever that's going on. And so I like that you can take that tone, put it in a like context, and it depends on your style. Like we're obviously, I think casually doing outreach is a good way of doing it because it helps to break down these walls of skepticism and trust and all these sorts of things. And I think that voice notes is a good way to do it. Like what we have done is in the sales process, if someone like hasn't reconfirmed a call, like sending them a voice note via like iMessage can work well. But you can do it via LinkedIn. Like, hey, just checking that you can make that call later today. It's in the calendar for like 3 p.m. your time, but I see you haven't reconfirmed. Let me know if you can make it or not. Cheers.
Yeah,
And again,
I
it's
think.
like you, and I'm just going to say, like, biologically, you're going to feel like this sense of reciprocity if you've listened to somebody do that. Like, you're going to feel bad ghosting them after that. Like you're going to give them an answer. And I think that's pretty similar. If someone's listened to a voice note that you've made for them, they'll be like, nah, not interested. They're not going to just like ghost you. Do you have any other questions for me?
Oh yeah, it was about like your speed to lead. So like, how do you
Hmm.
manage your speed to lead? So if you're running cold email marketing campaigns, whether it's for yourself or for your clients, like what impact has it had on your results when your speed to lead has been good? And how do you actually navigate that? Because sending emails, the speed to lead is obviously important. How do you navigate that?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And it's not something that I would say like we've perfected. So first thing to know is like if you're using Smart Leader instantly, they will throttle the replies that come back. Like that's why you'll be like, oh, I haven't got a reply in like 90 minutes, and then like 15 come through all at once. It's because they don't want you to build automation tools off their like API for replies that come in that reply instantly because it's not very human-like behavior, and so it's going to like cause issues. Um, so what we do is we have like an NAN workflow that categorizes the leads, and then it gets pinged to our Slack channel, and then we have a human that looks at it. The reason why is like even with like a full built out workflow that looks like pretty chaotic and complex, AI is only going to be like 97% accurate at correctly classifying the leads. And so we still have a human that works full time US hours to check every lead as it comes in and work it. Um, and so the speed to lead is slower than we would like because let's say there might be like, in some days there's like a 6 hour delay in Smart Lead, which is crazy, but it is what it is. Some days it's like if there's no delay. And so it kind of depends on a range of different factors. Perhaps there's stuff on their side or they're trying to throttle it somewhat. What from once it comes in, like you want to deal with it immediately, but if the client is nurturing the lead, like it's going to be like prospect replies, it gets throttled by your sequencer, then you have a human on your side that determines that this is a lead that needs to be nurtured. Then it gets sent to the client, and then the client maybe doesn't get to it for let's say 90 minutes, or if they've got like an appointment setter or like somebody on their team, maybe they can get to it within 15 minutes. So there still might be an hour delay there, which I know I see people online talking about like dealing with leads within 5 minutes. Like kudos to you if you're dealing with leads within 5 minutes. Like at scale, like that is fantastic. I'm sure it makes an impact. Like we still get really good results with that sort of delay. Yeah. How are you managing it?
Yeah, it's tough. Like pretty much similar to you. We've still got like a, I don't know if I trust the AIs and the automations to go and send messages immediately back. I know people do it as well. But at this stage, we've still got someone manually checking all the messages and doing the inbox management. Because
Mm.
I would rather, I know that a lead can get responded to, but if it looks like an AI sort of generated message, I know you can obviously tweak the prompts and stuff, but I would rather there be a slight delay and there be a real human at the end,
Mm.
who's trained on actually responding and not sounding like a robot. So yeah, at this stage, who knows? It could change in 1 month's time. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I just want to touch on your screen sharing point. So when you make, let's say, a personal Loom video, do you use like a Miro board, and then like how do you do the showing proof component or showing value component? Like you do a screen share and then you walk through something.
Yeah, exactly. So that is one strategy that you can do. So you would start the video on their website, so there's some sort of familiarity, and then you can flick over and share something. So that could be a Miro board, which for people that don't know, it's just like a flow chart board where you can just explain your process and what you do. But where people mess this up, if they go and basically introduce themselves and then flick over to something like a sales deck, or if it looks like a sales deck and it basically just looks like you're trying to pitch them straight away, that's a big no-no. Like you can't do that, especially in a cold outreach. And I know there's temptation to do it because it's like, oh well, they're watching the video anyway. Like, may as well pitch them, right? It's like, no, 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 no. You just want to give a bird's eye view, top level view of like, okay, this is the process. These are the mistakes that you're probably making right now. These are our solutions. Here's some proof. Here's some case studies, or here's our process. And then there's just going to be a simple call to action. So the screen sharing thing is almost just to give a bit more curiosity in terms of like, okay, well, yeah, he's kind of talking my language. I know that he knows what I'm struggling with, what my pains are, because you should have like a deep understanding of like, what keeps this person up at night, and then you can customize your pitch to that. So it doesn't have to be crazy. And like I've worked with people before where they've spent like 4 hours, legit 4 hours, on creating like a custom plan for someone to show them on the Loom video, which they might not even watch anyway. I'm like, no, 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 no. This needs to be like 2 minutes max for you to just explain. And ideally, you've got a system or, some sort of solution which is, you know, replicatable for each and every one of your clients, or you would show your process and how you do things. Like you're not reinventing the wheel every time. So you should be able to do those at speed. But yeah, the main rule of thumb is just not to basically position it as a pitch. Like it's not a pitch. It's just for you, just to give an intro.
Yeah, it's to build curiosity, and it's to, like I said, you're trying to convey to them that there's an opportunity for them. So you can be like, hey, like this is another company that we're working with in Chicago, and like they're having these problems, and this is how we've solved it. And I can see from your side that you're having the same problems, and I know that it's gonna work for you. Like that, like you don't need to sell them on anything beyond that. Okay, perfect, Ben. I do really appreciate you taking the time, man. Yeah,
No
thank you.
worries.